Welcome to the Three Musketeers, a sibling podcast that understands your Disney addiction. I'm Jared.
I'm Amanda.
And I'm Emily.
So this week on our episode, we're going to be talking about character meet and greets in the parks and which ones are our favorite, which ones we would like to see have more representation within the parks. But first, let's get into some news. So as of today, I have seen that Disney Springs is bringing back custodians. What do you guys think about that?
It's a step in the opening up completely direction.
It is kind of the first step, I guess. You know, if you're talking about custodians, it's not characters going back to the parks. It's not people getting ready to open up the front gate, but it is something. It's
a life at the parks.
It is a little something.
It's a step in the right direction.
Correct. And I mean, the first thing that is going to happen is custodians are going to have to come in and clean up the park, make sure that it's ready to go for the first visitors.
Right.
So it's, even though it seems kind of small, it's kind of important at this point.
Well, I think anytime we hear about like certain cast members, like groups of cast members going back to work, it's exciting.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So as of right now, we have 5 places that are opened up at Disney Springs?
That's what I've seen so far. I think there's a couple of them that haven't totally decided for sure if they are or are not opening then, but at least 5 of them have said they are opening on May 20th.
Okay. Let's kind of talk about those, because those properties aren't Disney properties, right?
Right. They are third-party owned companies that will be opening at Disney Springs.
Right. So we have Wine Bar George, we have STK Orlando, Wolfgang Puck Bar and Grill, Aaron McKenna's Bakery, and the Haagen-Dazs shop.
Right.
So those are the 5 that we know as of right now that are going to be opening up on the 20th.
Yeah, and I think since there is still a little bit of time, I have a feeling that we'll hear a few more deciding to open as well, but we'll see.
We shall see. It's going to be kind of the wait and see game up until we have confirmation that everything is opening. I mean, we do have something saying that Disney has pushed back reservations to July 1st, or at least in July. I don't know if it's the 1st or not, but I know it's reservations in July.
Yeah,
it is July
I think
1st.
It's the 1st. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they keep pushing it back. I mean, first, obviously, it was May 1st, and then it was June 1st, and now it's July 1st, and we'll see if it sticks with that. You never know.
This is my thing. Does that mean that they are not opening in June at all? I don't know if that necessarily means that, because they haven't canceled reservations in June. My thinking is, okay, maybe they're just at their max of what they could fit in a park and still keep social distancing for June. And so they're like, okay, we're full for June, move it on to July. And I don't know for sure that that's happening, but maybe it's wishful thinking.
Yeah, I mean, just based on like Shanghai just opened this week, and with like very strict social distancing guidelines and rules, but they are open. But I mean, they closed in January. So like looking at the timeline for them, I honestly think it's going to be a little longer than we're hoping for Disney World. But I'm going to be the pessimist of the situation right now.
But just because a park in a different country closed for longer doesn't mean that it will be the same here. And the reason I say that is because we've had longer to work on the situation. We knew more about it going in whenever they closed than when Shanghai had to close. it was very new then, and it wasn't quite as new whenever it got to us closing.
Yeah, I think we'll have to see. I don't know. I don't think it's going to open up in June, but that's just me.
Well, I think one of the things to bring up is that Disney has been talking about possibly being at like 50 to 75% of its typical capacity. Right? I'm not making that up in my head. Correct?
No, yeah,
No,
it's
that's
definitely
right.
going to be less capacity.
Oh yeah, most definitely. So I'm wondering if Amanda is kind of on the right track in a sense of them not canceling June reservations and just saying, we're booked as of right now for the capacity that we want to let into the front gate.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't
Yeah.
know.
It's obviously all speculation at this point, but we're all hoping that Disney opens up and we can go back to the parks.
Yes, for sure.
So, Emily, why don't you go ahead and give us a history fact?
Okay, today I wanted to do something a little different with the history, and I wanted to talk about the history of a character. So, for today's character, I'm going to do Goofy. And Goofy was created in 1932. And despite recent controversy, he is in fact a dog.
Told you, Jared.
I never said he wasn't. I'm just saying.
Just for people who haven't seen like all the stuff going around, there has been controversy that Goofy is a cow, not a dog, but he is a dog. And that's actually proved by the fact that his full name is Goofus D. Dog. So, I mean, it's not Goofus D. Cow. But anyway, his first appearance was in a short movie called Mickey's Review, and his name was not Goofus D Dog in that show. It was Dippy Dog. And he didn't quite look the same as he does now, and he was portrayed as like an old man dog. So he had like gray hair and was not the Goofy that we know and love. And it wasn't until 1934 that he got his name Goofy and became an official member of Mickey's gang. So one of, Mickey's
The
best
Fab
friends.
Five.
Yeah. And Goofy's first cartoon that he had himself was in 1939, and it was called Goofy and Wilbur. And that did so well that Goofy got his own short series that ended up being pretty popular in the 40s and 50s, and a few of them were even nominated for Oscars. So since then, the Goofy that we all know has appeared in many movies and shorts, and at the park is a character, and he's really popular, and that's how he got his start.
That's really cool.
It is. Now, I do have a question, though.
Is he a cow?
He is not a cow.
No.
He's a dog. We've discussed this. So in the movie Goof Troop, Max's name is Max Goof.
Yeah, it should be Max Dog.
Yeah.
See, I've read that Goofy's name is George G. Goof, and his nickname was Goofy.
Huh. See, I read that his full name is Goofus D. Dog. So I don't know. I also feel like whenever the characters were first getting established, they like changed their names and like all of the stuff about them so much until they were like an established character that it's very possible Goofy went through many names. Well, he did, but
He
even
did,
more
yeah.
than.
Yeah, because he was Dippy Dog. His first name was Dippy Dog, which is Dippy.
So wait a minute. This kind of opens up parallel universes. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about how Goofy is multiple different characters with multiple different names.
Let's not.
Right? He's just Goofy.
He is just the one Goofy that we all know and love.
Yes. Well, now I guess I will give you a little tip for the week. And I want to discuss the Frozen Ever After dessert party at Epcot.
Welcome to the game show portion of the podcast. This is the game show within a podcast, and I have a trivia question for Amanda and Emily. We're going to find out if they know their Disney. You guys ready to play?
Why not?
Yep.
Oh, man, I love surprising you so much. Okay, ladies, here is your question. Which Disney princess was Walt's favorite?
Obviously, it was Elsa. Just kidding.
It's a little after his time.
I know. That's why it's a joke.
You know, the funny thing is there are stories saying that Frozen was part of Walt's vision. In a sense of the movie was thought of while Walt was still alive, but nothing was really developed well enough until Frozen.
That's interesting.
That is interesting. This is not the history portion.
It's not. So I will repeat the question in case you forgot. Which of the Disney princesses was Walt's favorite?
See, I feel like the answer is not Snow White because that has been the answer too often.
Who knows?
What it is, actually, because
could be. You never know.
Jared apparently is fascinated with Snow White because that's all his trivia is about Snow White.
She's a great baker.
I'm like very inclined to say Snow White, but
well, let's see. Which ones do we have to choose from? We have Snow White, Aurora. What else? I have to. Oh, Cinderella.
Cinderella. I'm trying to think of like what year these movies were made in and if Walt was still
I've got it
around.
And I'll tell you why I think this is it. I think it is probably Aurora because the castle at Disneyland is Sleeping Beauty's castle.
That is a very good point, but I am going to counter that. Wait, we have to go with the same answer, don't we? Because I was going to say Cinderella. Because because her castle at Disney World is even bigger.
Yes, but it wasn't the first. Whenever he first built Disneyland, he didn't necessarily know for sure that they were going to have another park. So why would you not put your favorite in the first park that you built, not knowing if you're going to get another one?
That's true. I'll go with Aurora as well.
I think Aurora.
Okay, so you are both passing up Snow White to go with Aurora.
Even though Snow White was the first, I'll go with Aurora.
Final answer?
Yes.
Can we phone a friend?
I will let you call Walt.
Yeah. Okay. Poll the audience?
Nope, not how it's going to happen. Okay, so Aurora is incorrect. Walt's favorite was Cinderella.
Man, okay. I knew it. I should have gone with my gut.
So he talked to the voice actor who played Cinderella, and he said, there's something about the story I associate with. He was telling her how Cinderella was his favorite heroine.
So I wonder why he didn't put Cinderella's castle in Disneyland. Interesting.
I don't know. Maybe that would be a good trivia question for later.
Maybe so.
So, Amanda, you were getting into a tip.
Was I? Okay, let's talk about Frozen Ever After dessert party. After researching this, I really want to try it. Before I was kind of, on the fence. But you get special seating to watch Epcot Forever. So it's limited to only the people who are at the party. You get all the sweets and drinks that you can consume while you're there.
That's dangerous.
I know. And afterwards, you get a ride on Frozen Ever After.
Wow, I did not know that last part.
Yes. So you can save your Fast Pass, your Tier 1 Fast Pass for Epcot for, at the moment, Soarin' or Test Track.
Yeah.
Very
See,
cool.
I've heard of the Frozen Ever After dessert party, but I did not know that you got to ride the ride. And so that makes me actually more likely to do it, I think.
Right.
So what is the cost for said party?
So as of right now, it is $99 per adult for 10 and over and $59 for 3 to 9. But this includes all the tax and gratuity.
Okay.
And do you know, I don't know if you would know this off the top of your head, but I know it's called a dessert party, but I had seen with some of the dessert parties that they were starting to add more like savory options, like just small bites, but like cheese and stuff like that. So it wasn't just like an overload of sweets because you can only eat like so much. And so people were saying felt like they were getting their money's worth more because they could eat more since they added savory. Is that the case with the Frozen Ever After one? Do you know?
It is actually.
Okay.
And they have like different stations almost. There was like a Kristoff section. And so you could go to the different sections and get different options at each station.
And I know you said drinks, but does that include alcohol for adults?
There are alcoholic choices, yes.
Okay, see, that definitely I feel like makes it more worth your money because, I mean, alcohol at Disney parks is very expensive. So
Yeah, that really surprises me that alcohol is included in that price.
Right. And I don't think there's a lot to choose from.
Yeah, it's not going to be like an open bar.
Right.
Right,
so
but it is significant
and margaritas and,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
which is significant.
Right.
Yeah. That's cool. I think I would like to do that. I've never done a dessert party and I have wanted to, so that's an option.
Yeah, I think so too. I always wanted to do the one at Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, me too.
But it's more pricey.
Yeah.
And you don't get the extra ride with it, which I think is definitely a selling point. It's almost like you're buying another Fast Pass.
Yeah, I love the Frozen ride, and yeah, it kind of does suck having to use your Tier 1 Fast Pass on that and then having to wait for Test Track and Soarin' because the Frozen line is still ridiculous. Like, you'll be waiting hours probably. Right. So I really like this.
Yeah. Now, something to consider, though, is there are not any character meet and greets in this.
Okay.
But still, you get the ride.
Yeah.
Right. You get the ride and the alcohol. That's worth it.
Yeah. All right, let's move into our Disney Bounding segment for the week. And this week, I picked Jafar. And actually, I asked Amanda and Jared what character they wanted me to do for, Disney Bounding this week. And both of them said Jafar. So I did it and then found out they were joking because Jafar is my least favorite, like, scariest villain. So, but I did it anyway, and I think it turned out great. Jokes
or not. It really did.
Yeah, I think you did a great job with it.
So, let me preface this by saying I posted the both options, option A and option B for the Jafar Disney Bounding look on both our Instagram and our Facebook. And both of those you can find us at T3M podcast. So I would really suggest going and checking those out before or after I start talking about them. So let's get into option A. And for this one, I went with a flowy black dress. And I kind of wanted one that was like real flowy because Jafar wears pretty much a flowy dress and a cape. And He has on a large red belt around his midsection, so I also picked a large red belt. And then I picked some gold sandals to go along with it and a ruby red necklace, kind of to match the red stone that he has on his hat, and a black wrap headband that I thought went really well with the outfit in place of an actual hat like he wears. And I picked some earrings that are really cool because they're the serpent. I guess that's what you would call it, right?
Yeah,
Serpent.
the
Okay.
serpent to kind of match his staff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the serpent that is on his staff. So I think that they're actually Disney earrings. Like if you look them up, they are like a Disney collection. And to finish off the look, I have a bag that is also the serpent, like what's on his staff. And it's a really cool, like ornate, detailed bag. So that was option A. And then option B, I feel like, is a little bit more of a casual look. And that is black jeans and a red top. And then for the shoes, I wanted to stick with the gold shoes. Because if you see some pictures of Jafar, it looks like his shoes are gold color. So I went with gold Nikes. And I think these are really cool. They're Air Force Ones. They're all gold. And for accessories, I did Jafar Mickey ears. So it looks like his hat, but it's Mickey ears. So it's perfect for wearing at the parks. And then I picked a serpent ring and magic lamp earrings because, you know, he's always chasing after that magic lamp. And that finishes off our Disney bounding. And I would love to hear if you guys liked option A or option B better. What do you two think?
I think both of these are very good.
Thanks.
Like I really like the detail that you picked with the earrings and the ruby red necklace for option A. I think those tie in very well. But honestly, I think I like option B the best. Mostly because of the lamp earrings and the
Yeah.
gold Air Force Ones. I think those are probably my two favorite aspects of option B.
Yeah, and I love the Mickey ears because like it's would be very rare to see me at the park without Mickey ears on. So I really like those.
Yeah. Amanda, what about you?
Okay, I also think you did really well on both of these, especially for being terrified of the character. I'm going to have to choose A, and I feel like I choose the dress every time, but this one, it just fits so perfectly because it really does look like his outfit.
Yeah.
Especially when adding the belt to it, it's just perfect. And I love the earrings. They are amazing. Now, if it were me, I would really want the Mickey ears, though, with this outfit.
I know, they're
because
cute.
they're just super cute.
Yeah,
But
and they look like his hat. I think they're so cool.
they do. But I do really love this outfit. And I would totally rock that at the park.
Good.
Very cool. Well, good job with Jafar, Emily. I know that it probably pained you to look at Jafar for so long.
Yeah, he's a creepy dude.
Well, I mean, to each their own, I guess. All right, let's go ahead and get into the main topic. We're going to talk about character meet and greets within the parks and which ones are our favorite, which ones we would like to see more representation within the parks. So let's have Amanda start out. Amanda, which ones are your favorite? Let's start with that.
Okay, most of mine are based off of the last trip that we had, just because it's the freshest in my mind, obviously. My absolute favorite, and I've said it before, was 1900 Park Fair and meeting Cinderella, Prince Charming, Lady Tremaine, Anastasia, and Drizella. The facial reactions from Lady Tremaine were spot on and amazing. You felt like you were really part of the movie with her. Everything was like perfect.
She was very good.
And then Anastasia and Drizella played so well off of each other. They loved on all the kids, especially the boys, and fought amongst each other because they were all trying to claim them. And it was just really great. It made it really fun to be there and see them interacting, because even though they had left and gone over to a different table to talk to somebody else, they're still looking over and interacting with the other one, so they were back and forth all over the restaurant. It was really great and fun.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
So that's my first. The second one was Vanellope Von Sweet that we met at Epcot. And this is more of a true meet and greet, not a character meal. She saw me and my son standing off to the side. And when my daughter was meeting her with my husband, she called us up to come and see her too. And she spent a long time with us because she had already finished with my daughter. And then she saw us, kind of waiting for Addie to come over, and called us over to take pictures with her too. And then she spent a lot of time with my son as well. So I know the people behind us were probably really irritated, but she just took so much extra time to talk to both of them and was super sweet with both of them. So I really enjoyed that one.
That line did last a very long time because they did spend a lot of time with each individual person that came up. It was surprising how long they let the meet kind of carry on. So
right.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like they rush like the people through too fast. And it's never the character, it's always the person. And I know that's their job, like the person that's with the character, they kind of like push people through. So I like it whenever I see them taking more time, even if the line lasts a little bit longer.
Right.
Yeah.
And the ones that are really fun, and Amanda, this one was kind of the same thing for the Vanellope meet and greet, is whenever the photographers and the handlers kind of get involved with the meet and greet session.
Right. Yeah.
And they kind of did that with that one.
They did. They're trying to get the perfect picture and giving you or suggestions on how to pose or whatever. Yeah, it's really fun. And then the last one I wanted to talk about was meeting Stitch at Magic Kingdom. And that one, there was like no line to see Stitch.
It was hidden away.
It was.
Yeah, his meet and greet spot is kind of like tucked away. So I feel like not as many people really know that he's there.
Well, it's in the spot where Stitch's Great Escape used to be. And so nobody wants to ride that. So you don't go in there because you don't want to ride that. But whenever you actually walk in, you see that Stitch is there. And he took a lot of time with my daughter and let her love on him and smooch his nose. And he just spent so much time with her. And I really loved that for her. And she ate it up being with him for that long.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So those are my top from this last trip.
Okay, Emily, what about you?
Okay, so I'm just going to start by saying like all of the Fab Five characters are my favorite to meet.
I thought you were going to start out with, okay, all of them. I love all of them.
Well, yeah, that too. But yeah, all of those are like really special to me whenever I get to meet them, because I feel like anytime you're in line to meet like Mickey or Donald or Goofy, or Minnie, all of them have the longest lines. And so it's kind of rare because, I'm a grown-up with no kids. So most of the time I'm not going to wait in a long line to meet a character. But on the rare occasion that I do, like I'm in a character meal or the line just happens to not be that long, I will literally cry whenever I meet those characters. And I don't know what it is, but it's just so special to meet one of the Fab Five plus Pluto. So I feel like there's Fab Five plus Pluto. Why is he not included in that? But and so last time, or not last time, but a few times ago, whenever we were there, we actually got to go do some like private meet and greet thing. I don't really know what it was for, but it was in Epcot, and it was like a surprise meet and greet, and it was like tucked away, and not everyone got to do it. I think you had to have like a Disney credit card or something like that, and it was a surprise. You didn't know who was going to be there. And when we walked in, it was Mickey and Goofy, and I cried. And my husband was just looking at me like, are you freaking serious? Pull yourself together, woman. What are you doing? I was like so happy. It was the best day ever. So I really like all of them. And then I would also say Gaston, which I have talked about before.
Yeah.
No,
There it
you like
is.
Gaston?
Yeah, like y'all, if you just go and watch YouTube videos of Gaston interacting with people at the parks, especially like women, it is the funniest thing because he's like hitting on them and trying to steal them away from their like boyfriend or husband, and it's the funniest thing. So he's like a really good one to interact with, and he can also actually talk to you. So I feel like characters that are like face characters and can talk can sometimes be a little more fun. And then
Now, let me
what?
ask you a question on him.
Yeah.
Is he just kind of hanging around, or does he have a specific spot that he meets?
No, he's normally over by Gaston's Tavern. So
Okay.
at Magic Kingdom, Gaston's Tavern, that's typically where you'll find him. And I'm not sure if there's other like places around Disney World or the parks. And I don't know about like Disneyland, obviously. I'm sure you can meet him there too. But Gaston's Tavern.
Okay, because I've never actually seen him
Yeah.
out whenever I've been there, so I was just curious.
Yeah, he
Yep,
was there
that's
whenever we
perfect.
went last time. I remember specifically walking by and mentioning Emily.
Yeah, there we go. And then the last one that I wanted to mention are the stormtroopers. And normally, like, you're not going to stand in line to meet them, but when they're just like passing through and interacting with you, they're really funny. Like, they say funny things to people, and just hearing them walk by and they'll like look at you and get like in your face with their little stormtrooper gun and be like, affirmative. And I love them. They're so fun. So I wanted to mention that one too. And they're normally just walking around.
Yeah, that's
Those
a good one.
It is really a good one because I wasn't even thinking about them because you don't actually, stand in line to meet them
Yeah.
or go to a dining establishment to meet them. They're just kind of walking around, but
Yeah.
they are really funny.
Yeah.
Great
I
choice.
like them a lot.
Yeah, that was a very good one. I'm glad you brought that one up because I'm going to bring up the other Star Wars characters like Chewbacca and Darth Vader specifically. I'm a big Darth Vader fan, so I love going to meet those. I brought my daughter last trip to go see Chewbacca and BB-8 and Darth Vader, so we have pictures with all three of those. So I'm really happy, but she enjoyed it. She was dressed as Anna, and they kept. Whenever we would get up in the front of the line, the handlers at the front of the line would, talk to her as if she was Princess Anna.
That's cool.
So Star Wars, obviously, the character meet and greets there are pretty cool. Amanda, I was going to mention Stitch as well, just because of the obscure placement and like how quickly you can get in and get out and how much time you can actually spend with Stitch. So I'm glad you brought that one up. I was also going to bring up Vanellope because that one was really fun. Again, one of those meet and greets where you got to spend a lot of time with the character. It did make the line go a little slow, but you got some time with the character. And also one of the things that you didn't mention though is that the first time we went by, we didn't have enough time to stop and actually do the meet and greet. But the first time we went by, Ralph was with her. So you got
Right.
both of those characters at that meet and greet, not just Vanellope, but from time to time, one or the other will switch out. So it's good to try to get there when both of them are there. But again, the line might go a little bit slower.
Right. Now that one too, though, it's kind of hidden also.
It is.
I didn't even know they were there until we got off of Journey into Imagination.
Right.
And
with who?
With Figment.
Yes.
Hello.
Thank you.
Yes. And there she was. So it's kind of hidden. If you don't know that you're going there specifically to see her,
right.
You know.
Their meet and greet is kind of in the play area after the ride is over.
Right. So I don't think that one, it had a longer line because she was taking her time meeting everybody, not because there were a lot of people.
Right. Yeah. So I think the last one that I want to mention as a favorite is Alice from Alice in Wonderland. So I brought, again, my daughter. Obviously, if I have my daughter with me, most of the meet and greets that we're going to be going to are going to be for her. But I love the interaction of the character with the kids. Whenever my daughter got up there, Alice was teaching her how to bow to the queen and say, "Yes, Your Majesty." And
curtsy.
It was
Get
curtsy.
The lingo right.
I'm
Come
sorry,
on.
curtsy. And it was just a fun interaction within the world of Alice in Wonderland. Because if you think about some of the characters that we're talking about, like, I don't know, Winnie the Pooh or Stitch, you know, characters like that, you're surrounded by, I guess, the scene. So it kind of makes you kind of immersed, but not nearly as much as a character that can emote and has some dialogue and has some interaction that way with the kids or even the adults. And I think that's what really makes those kind of interactions a little bit more special.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Now you do need to mention that the Alice that you went and met was at Epcot.
Yes.
And the World Showcase, because there is a meet and greet for Alice also in Magic Kingdom. So you need to specify.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the clarification.
You're welcome. I do what I can. Now, not this last trip, but the trip before when we went, my daughter was a lot younger. She was like 18 months old then. And she did not like the characters that were face characters that could interact with you. She did not like them.
Because they're new humans.
Yes. She was terrified. But any of the ones that were in full costume, Goofy, she loved Goofy. But, you know, any princesses were no-go.
Well, I guess that's going to bring us to which characters do you think we would like to see more of in the parks?
One of the ones I really would like to see more of, they are already correcting, Moana. My daughter absolutely loves Moana. I love Moana. My husband loves Moana. And right now you can't really meet her except at the parties, some of the parties. So I'm super glad that they are bringing her to Epcot. I would love for them to also bring Maui with Moana.
Yeah.
If they could have both of them there, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
You could even have a little electronic hey walking around and, you know, knocking into the wall or something, you know? It'd be really fun.
That would be very fun to see. Hey. I'm just saying.
I know.
And I also had Moana and Maui on mine. I feel like that's a very popular one that people want in the parks, and I'm so surprised they haven't like put her in before.
Right. And I think they have occasionally. Like I said, they do it at the parties and stuff. And then I think whenever the movie first came out, I think they had one with her briefly.
Probably.
Yeah. Another one that I think is underrepresented, actually two, Lilo from Lilo and Stitch and Rapunzel. They are both in restaurants, but you can only meet them at breakfast. So if you don't want to spend all your time in breakfasts at Trattoria, Al Forno, or Ohana, then you don't get to meet those characters. So I really wish they would bring them into the parks as well so that everybody can meet them.
Yeah, those are good ones as well. I would also especially really like to meet Lilo.
And then my last one is Jafar, because I would really like to recreate that photo of us from when we went to Disney before. I just think that would be fun.
Yeah.
And then Genie, of course. You always see Aladdin and Jasmine, but you never get to meet the Genie. So
yeah,
I'd like the Genie to be there.
Yeah, that would be cool. Okay, so for mine, like I said, I also had Moana and I had Maui, so I'll skip past those. Okay, this one's a little weird. Like, I'm not sure how exactly this would work, but I want to meet Steamboat Willie. I just do. Like, would that not be cool to have a Steamboat Willie meet and greet?
That'd be very cool. Like, especially if it was like at Mickey's Runaway Railway.
Yes. Like, I really think, I mean, and they have like Steamboat Willie stuffed animals and stuff at the park. So they know that people, like, there's a market for him. People want to see him. So I think it would be really cool if they had a meet and greet.
That really is a great option. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. So there's that one. And then also one that I just want to see more of is Maleficent, because I know you can meet her at the Halloween party. But besides that, I can't think of any other places and times that you can meet her. And she's a really cool villain. And I feel like a lot of people would really like to like interact with her, and just like, I feel like she could have a really good, like, kind of mean but in a fun way personality when she meets people.
Yeah.
You know, I'm kind of surprised they don't have her in the parks, just because, I mean, she has 2 movies recently that are pretty big movies. So I'm kind of surprised that they don't have better representation of her in the parks.
I know.
I'm kind of surprised they don't have as much representation for villains overall.
Yeah, because villains are like, I feel like gaining popularity. Like, you know, people want like a villain's theme park and all of that. So I feel like the villain meet and greets would do really well.
I think so too.
Especially for like older kids and teenagers and even adults.
Yeah.
And that may be something that they're thinking of too, that they don't want to frighten the littler kids.
I was scared. I met Jafar whenever I was like 5, and he was super scary.
It was different back then too. Like, you didn't wait in line to really meet them then. They were just kind of walking around. Now you actually have to wait in line. So can you imagine waiting in line for an hour and then getting your kid up there and then being terrified?
Just don't bring your small child to a villain meet and greet. They don't need to ruin it for the rest of us.
Okay, so here are my top 2 that I want to see in the parks. I want to see Tiana and Lottie.
Yeah. Tiana, I know she does have a meet and greet, but she's not as like widely available as I think she should be. I also think she should have a ride, but that's just me.
Tiana, can meet Tiana in Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, is she in the like Princess Hall thing?
Yes, where there's 4 different princesses you can meet. She's there.
But I think that's the only place.
See, I was not aware of that.
Yeah, she's there. And now that I think about it, Rapunzel may be there too.
She might be. But either way, both of them are still under, like, think about how many places you can meet, like Cinderella and...
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like...
Well, Anna and Elsa, you can only meet them at Epcot. That is the only place you can meet them.
Yes. But going along
But-
with The Princess and the Frog, I think that Dr. Facilier would be really fun in the park as well. You know, kind of talking about the villains. But I think that just those characters are a little bit less represented than they should be.
And I don't think you can meet Lottie at all. So she would definitely be cool to be there.
I mean, I think they would have some really fun interaction between Lottie and Tiana.
Yeah. You know, at Disneyland, I think that Tiana's a little bit more represented because they have the New Orleans Square. So she has like a good meet and greet spot in there. But at Disney World, not so much.
What about some of the Ratatouille characters? Like we have Ratatouille coming to the park now. How fun would it be to get some meet and greets over in that area?
You want to be a giant rat?
Yeah.
Yes. We already have a giant mouse.
Do. Yeah.
Yeah, but he doesn't look like a real mouse. Like Remy looks like a real rat.
Well,
you know what I mean?
They could do something kind of like how they do the like Star Wars robots where they have like little animatronics.
What about like a animatronic like Mr. Potato Head?
Yeah, something
where
like
it's
that.
still an interaction, but it's not like a person in a suit.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
What do you mean? Okay, sure.
Sure. If that's
I think that's a pretty good idea, honestly.
I think so too. I'm there with you, Jared. I understand.
I like that option better than the human sized rat. I mean, you know, that's a little creepy, I think, but you know, that's me. I do wish they had the restaurant that they have in Paris here, and then it wouldn't be so weird having a giant rat walking around because it would be like he was part of the restaurant, you know?
Yeah.
So let's think of a couple others. What other movies do you think that don't really have representation within the parks? What about The Incredibles? I know that they have the coaster in Disneyland.
Yeah, I think same thing as Tiana. They have more of a place in Disneyland than they do Disney World for sure. So yeah, that would be a good one.
Well, they have a place in Hollywood Studios.
Yeah. I was actually about to say that because I just remembered they like transformed like the place that used to be a Toy Story area into an Incredibles area now.
Right. So and that's where the entrance to Toy Story Mania used to be. They closed that off and made that an Incredibles area.
Okay.
So at times they have Edna Mode in there, which I think is really cool.
Oh, okay. I wasn't aware of this one.
But Edna Mode, like, she's a really cool meet and greet, but I think she is like a little bit like less known. So,
are they taking away the Mike Wazowski and Sully?
They're taking away Mike Wazowski, but they're leaving Sully. So I think that's really weird that one of them is staying and one of them is not.
Yeah, that's very
wrong.
Weird.
Poor Mike. He's always getting the short end of the stick.
I made it into Disney.
Yeah.
That's
I don't know.
Weird.
Yeah, I don't know why. I thought maybe they're moving him somewhere else, maybe. I don't know. I thought it was a little odd, too, to have one and not the other. But I don't know why.
You know, thinking of some other movies, Amanda, how would you feel about like a Remy meet and greet, kind of similar to Crush?
Oh, like
that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Where it's more like an interactive movie type thing. Yeah. That would actually be kind of cool.
Yeah.
And it would be more of like a little sit-in experience for the kids rather than like a meet and greet session.
I'd be game for that.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I do still kind of like the Mr. Potato Head style animatronic, though. I think that'd be really fun. Okay, how about this one? How about the child from Mandalorian, or just Mandalorian as well. Both of them. Let's get both of them in the park.
Yeah.
Please
What
bring
about-
Baby Yoda. Please.
What about Mandalorian with the the crib, the floating crib with the child floating
That would
behind
be
him?
an epic meet and greet.
No joke. I mean, you would wait for hours.
Yeah.
Oh,
I feel
yeah.
like that would be like the longest meet and greet line.
Yes. I would totally stand in line for that. That'd be cool.
That would be great.
That would be
I love
really
that.
cool. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's going to do it. I'm sure there's a lot that we're missing. But I mean, honestly, you can only fit so much within the parks. So,
Yeah. I mean, I would really love to see the Marvel characters there, but with their contract stuff, you can't really do that.
yeah, and that's kind of why I didn't mention them. I would love to see the Marvel characters as well.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and get into some mousekeeping. We do have another 5-star review. Thank you guys for sending those in. We are running a little low, so please continue to send those in. This one comes from Meech 2014 from January. If I could, I would live inside Disney. If you're a Disney fanatic like me, then you will want to listen. Thank you so much for your 5-star review, Meech 2014. It feels weird calling them Meech 2014. I'm sorry. Meech. I'm going to call you Meech.
I'd love to help you plan a fabulous vacation. Whenever you're ready, contact me. You can find me on Facebook, Amanda Hollis, Capture the Magic Vacations, and all of my contact information is in the show notes.
On our next episode, we are going to have our first guest, and we are really excited to have Lynn Barron. He is the author of 2 books. He's a former custodian at Disneyland, and he's also a fellow Disney podcaster.
All right, that's going to do it for this week. Thank you all for listening. You can also be a part of the magic by following the show at T3M Podcast on all social media platforms. That's T3M Podcast. Leave us a 5-star written review and we'll read it on an upcoming episode. If you have an announcement that you would like to have on the show or just want to reach out to us, you can send us an email at T3Mpodcast@gmail.com.
Have a zippity-doo-dah day.
See you real soon.